Well, good afternoon, everybody. Christy Mitropoulos, Ruby Ambassador, here to talk to you today about belief. Now, when I was asked if I would come on this call and share a little bit about my journey, I knew that I wanted to talk about how I got to where I am today. And as I was reflecting back on some of the things that I've struggled with over the years and where I am today, I really do believe in my own heart that when we can set our heart to believe that something is true for us, we will do whatever it takes to get there. Now, when I first started out on these products with Sarah last year, and I have only been working this business, for those of you who don't know, I joined Plexus a year ago, May. And I did have an interest in the business. Sarah and I have gone over this a few times. Sarah's my sponsor, by the way, Sarah Byers. And even though I said I wanted to get started on Plexus again, because I had done it like 5 years ago with no results, I was one of those people that tried it for 2 months and I quit and I got my money back. And it was not under Sarah, it was under somebody else. But I was watching Sarah and I knew that she had been a part of Plexus for a while. So when I had put on 15 pounds back in 2021, at the beginning of the year, I knew that I wanted to do something so that I wouldn't continue down that pathway of just, putting on a few extra pounds every year. I'm 65 years old, by the way. And I have 2 grandchildren that I babysit a couple of days a week, and I want to be able to keep up with them. And when I realized that I was feeling fluffy, I was not feeling comfortable in my clothes. I was napping every day, every afternoon. I felt like I needed a nap. I mean, there was just a lot of things that were not going right for me. And I thought, I need to get rid of these 15 pounds. Like that was my incentive. Well, I ended up going on the products. And one thing that happened to me was that I gained 4 pounds my first month. That's right. I gained 4 pounds my first month on Plexus. Now, I had not been a water drinker prior to Plexus. In fact, I tell people all this all the time, and they'll shake their head and they'll say, no way. And I'm telling you the truth. I drank about 6 ounces of water a day before I started doing Plexus. So when I signed up and Sarah gave me, the talk about how to take my products, one of the things she said is you need to drink like half your body weight in ounces of water per day. Well, that meant that I was going to have to drink like 10 times what I had been drinking. And so when I started doing that, I think the reason why I gained those 4 pounds is that toxins were trying to leave my body and it just was not happening as rapidly as I wanted it to, because I really think I was severely dehydrated. So after that month, that's when I got my first reset. I did my first reset. I lost those 4 pounds, and then I lost another 3 pounds, and I lost another 4 pounds. Anyways, I got rid of those 15 pounds. Now, the first month that I got started on my product, Sarah asked me if I had any friends who had health problems. And I said to her, oh my gosh, who doesn't have friends that have health problems, right? We all know people that are struggling with their weight or gut issues or whatever. I mean, I lost my husband 13 years ago to colon cancer, and he didn't even know that he was sick. I mean, like from the day that he said, I feel something's going on, and, he thought it was indigestion. I ate something, wrong. I mean, something like that. It took a couple of months before he was diagnosed. And when they gave him the diagnosis, it was stage 4. And so he ended up doing chemotherapy, and he was with us for about another 10 or 11 months. But then, my whole life was turned upside down. And I had to figure out how to do life, right, as a single woman. So anyways, fast forward to last year when I talked to Sarah about the products. And even though my motivation was to lose the 15 pounds, there was also something that was inside me that said, if there was something going on in my gut, would I even know about it? Like, would I know if there was something happening? Because my husband didn't know anything was happening. I mean, men don't usually talk about their bathroom habits, even to their wives. So I wasn't even aware of the fact that he had diarrhea or, that there was anything really wrong. I mean, yes, he would have indigestion. He'd talk about, oh, I ate too much, I need to take a Rolaids and that kind of thing. But it was kind of a shocker when we all found out what was wrong with him. So last year, when I got started on the products, I knew absolutely nothing about gut health. I'd never taken a probiotic in my life, hadn't really studied it, didn't know anything about gut health or anything. So I was brand new, okay, in this business of helping people get gut healthy. But here's what happened. When Sarah asked me if I knew any people that had problems, I said, yes, I do. I know some people. I'm a certified a heart physics coach with Dr. Jim Richards out of Huntsville, Alabama. And so I had several clients that I was helping just walk through issues in life, and several of them had health issues. And so I told her, I said, well, I'll tell my friends what I'm doing. And if they're interested, you can talk to them. So we set up a chat. Long story short, I signed up like 7 or 8 people that first month who just wanted to make this journey. And so I began to educate myself on the topic of gut health. And at the same time, I began to dream about having a business where I could actually help other people get healthy. And maybe possibly, because I can't change what happened to my husband, maybe I could help somebody else's husband stay alive. Maybe I could help some mama live longer if she were taking care of her health. So that was kind of like my why. Now, belief. I want to talk to you a little bit about belief, because when I came into this Plexus business, one of the things that I did have was a belief in my heart that God was leading me into something that was going to give me financial freedom. When my husband passed away 13 years ago, he had no life insurance, we had no savings, and I basically had to start life all over. And even though I was living, an okay life, if you were to ask me, Christy, are you living in your dream house? Are you driving your dream car? Do you get to go on your dream vacations? Are you giving everything to your church that you wish that you could give? Are you supporting all the missionaries that you love and appreciate who are doing things around the world? I would have said no to all of that. So at the beginning of last year, I was doing a book study with a group of women, and we were I got the book here because sometimes people are like, what is it? I got this book called Imagine Big by Terry Savelle Foy. And I was doing this study with a group of women. And for the first time in my adult life, I actually gave myself permission to dream. Now, I know a lot of you, we hear a lot about being content, right? And even though I was content with my life, as I began to examine where I was at, I realized that I had settled for a mediocre life. I had settled for a life that I'll never be wealthy. I'll never live in a big house. I'll probably never buy, a brand new car. I'll probably never get to give as much to my church as I'd like to. Like, I had all of those things that were surrounding the belief of my heart. And so before I ever signed up for Plexus in May a year ago, I began this journey of mapping out my dream and beginning to give my heart what it needed to believe that, first of all, God wanted me to prosper. And that even though I couldn't see where it would come from, that God's much bigger than I am, and that he had something that I could connect to that would bring me financial freedom. Now, I have 4 grown daughters that live right here in Northwest Arkansas with me. I used to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in 2015, 5 years after my husband passed away, I moved here to Northwest Arkansas. And my kids are very, very good stewards of their money. None of them are in debt. They all own their own vehicles, and they all have savings accounts. And my daughter next door, she and her husband built their dream house on this piece of property. This little house I'm living in right now is the temporary house they lived in for 2 years while they built their dream home next door. And so I knew that they were all, they were all fine financially, but I didn't know how I was going to take care of myself in my latter years. Now, I don't know how much y'all know about Social Security, but I'm going to tell you the widow's benefits that I get from a minister who barely paid into Social Security because we opted out of paying in is not enough to even take care of my rent and utilities. So I knew that I can't rely on the government to take care of me. And the very last thing I wanted to do was to rely on my grown children to take care of me. I wanted to be financially independent. So that part of my belief of my heart was already in place when Sarah began to talk to me about the business opportunity. Now, we've had this discussion before, and she and I have gone over this. I said, did I really act like I was interested in the business right at first? Because I thought I said, no, I don't want to share. And she said, well, you were asking all the business questions, but I do think that there was a fear there that was present, that the fear of what other people would think. I mean, here I'd been in ministry over 35 years, and what would people think if all of a sudden Christy's now doing what Sarah's doing, talking about gut health products and weight loss and all that. That doesn't sound like what a minister does, right? So I had to really deal with some of my own fears and the beliefs of my heart to get them in alignment with what I really did believe God was leading me into. I don't think God chooses our occupations for us. I really have the belief that God, gives us opportunities and he opens doors for us, but it's up to us to walk through those doors and to say, yes, I'm going to do this, or yes, I'm willing to, to try this or that or the other. Now, my background is not social selling. My background is not an MLM. I mean, I'm telling you, I was like, when it came to that, I was like, no, I don't want to be a part of that, because there was such a, MLMs had such a bad rap. And especially within the church and the Christian community, people who were doing it in a not so cool way would, get close to people, and you'd think that they would, were getting close to you to be your friend. And then the next thing you know, they're trying to sell you something. And I just didn't want to be that person. Right. And so I had to overcome those things. But when I saw the opportunity that was being presented to me as, an average, ordinary person, I tell people all the time, Plexus is not looking for extraordinary people, right, to do the business. Plexus is open to ordinary people who will just do the extraordinary things. And the extraordinary things are to believe that this business is for you, and that if you will put into place just some simple things, that you can work a business. Now, what did I do when I first started out was I just started sharing with my friends and just saying, hey, listen, I'm doing this. I don't know if you're interested, but if you want to, Sarah will talk to you. I didn't know anything about the product, so I didn't try to sell anybody on anything. I just would say, would you be willing to talk to my friend Sarah? And of course, she did. And so over time, I would listen to the conversations that she would have. I would look at the messages that we were sending to the people in our three-way chats. And I began to learn how to share the business and what to do. So my journey, I went pretty fast. I did Fast Start Silver, Fast Start Senior Silver, Fast Start Gold. And then I kind of parked there at a Gold Ambassador. I think it was for about 8 months. And even though I was sharing, I was continuing to share, I was signing up, most months I was signing up at least 3 people, but I had people coming and going, and I had a few underneath me who were sharing, but nobody that I would really consider a business builder that was really, all in with the business, wanting it as much as I wanted it. And Sarah shared a video with me by Brittany Howard. And I know a lot of y'all know who Brittany Howard is, Diamond with our company. She and Christina Williams, they did some training at a convention. I don't know if y'all went to convention, but it was amazing. It was wonderful. And I have loved those 2 ladies so much. And Sarah sent me a video of Brittany doing training on how to get business builders. Now, I will, I don't know if anybody's on here that can drop that into the chat. Several of y'all have that copy of that YouTube, but if not, I'll put it on the table. I'll put it in the recording, under the recording on the table. But that video was a game changer for me, because here's the thing. I believed in my ability to succeed in whatever I set my hands to. But up until that point in time, I didn't believe that there were people who wanted it as bad as I did. I didn't believe that there were people out there that would do the business, because this is a job. I mean, yes, the things that they ask us to do, the things they tell us to do, they're really simple things. I mean, post and message, right? Follow up on customers. There's not a lot of hard things they're telling us to do, but it takes consistency, and it takes commitment, and it takes belief, right? And so I needed to believe that God would speak to somebody and bring somebody into my life and into my business who wanted it as much as I did. So after I listened to it like the first time, I just decided I'm putting that podcast on every time I walk my dog. Now, I've got a German Shepherd dog, and he likes to go for long walks. So I walk about 3 miles a day. I'm getting ready to do the walking challenge. In fact, hi, Kim. Kim is going to be my partner for the walking challenge. Yeah. And we're going to walk 10,000 steps a day. So like yesterday, I came back home after my 3-mile walk, and I passed my driveway, and my dog looked at me like, "What are you doing? Why are we going home?" And I said, "Because I got to figure out how far I got to walk to get 10,000 steps in." So I went a little farther and came back. But normally I'm walking about 3 miles, and it takes me about 45, 50 minutes to do that. So I listened to podcasts. Well, I put that thing on repeat. And I'm telling you what, I listened to that day after day after day after day. I have listened to that one thing dozens of times. And somewhere in that time of listening to it, I had, someone that I was talking to about the products. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to do what Brittany says. And I'm just going to start asking everybody I sign up if they're interested in the business, And so I won't give you all the details about it, but I ended up signing up someone who ended up coming on my team and helping me not only get to senior gold, but I ranked up to ruby. And at the same time, this is what was happening to her. She went silver, she went fast start silver, fast start senior silver, she went fast start gold, then she went fast start senior gold. I mean, that lady, and she's on here now. Hey, how you doing, Renee? She's muted and she doesn't have her video on, but she is one of my business builders. And so here's what I want to tell you guys. Don't ever believe that there are people out there who want this as bad as you. Don't ever believe that there aren't people out there who need this. Listen, I don't care how young you are or how old you are, right? There's a lot of people that would say, Christy, you're 65 years old. This is too late in life to be starting a brand new business. Well, that might be what somebody out there is saying, but that's not what my sponsors are saying. That's not what the diamonds in this company, that's not what Andrea is saying. That's not what Brandy Walker Walker's saying, right? That's what Julia Carty is saying. They are saying, girl, you go, like you can do this. So when I'm talking about belief, I want you to have belief in several things. Number one, you've got to have belief in the products, right? You've got to believe that they work. And it doesn't matter. Like I didn't have a ton of health issues when I first started, taking my Plexus. Yes, I was having those, put on that extra weight and I lost it, and that's great. But I also have gotten rid of like my sugar cravings, and I don't feel like I need a nap every afternoon. And I've got the energy now to run around this, with my grandkids. I do all kinds of things with them. I can walk my dog 3 miles a day. I've joined the gym. I belong to Orange Theory Fitness. And I'm telling you what, I go in there for a 55-minute workout. I have always been, for the last year, I'm the oldest one in the gym every single time I'm there. And I keep up with all the 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, or whatever, right? Because why? How does that happen? I've now got the energy to do it, right? I have what it takes. So I have belief in the products, right? The next thing you have to believe in is you have to believe in the company. You've got to believe in Plexus as a company. You've got to believe that they're not, scammers, that this isn't some pyramid scheme, which I'm telling you, there are people that have some wild and crazy ideas about what I'm doing. And I'm like, honestly, I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm a believer. Do you think that I would get involved with a company that's scamming people? Like, no, I believe in the products. I believe in the company. I believe in the business model. From where I'm at right now, I mean, I just started a little over a year ago, and I'm now at Ruby status, which is about an income of around $2,000 a month. Not too bad, right? For starting out a new business just a little over a year ago. Well, I'm mapping out my plan, and I plan before the end of this year to be senior Ruby. And I plan by the end of next summer, by July 31st, I want to be Emerald. I want to be in Hawaii, right? So I've got belief that I've got to keep feeding. So how do I do that? I believe not only in the products and in the company and in the business model, I believe in myself. I believe in me. I believe that I've got what it takes. And if I ever wake up one morning and I think, oh my God, what are you doing? I immediately take that thought captive, and I'm like, you know what, girl, you know what you're doing. You're headed for the top, and you are going to be a diamond with Plexus. Like, here's something I want to tell you guys. I tell somebody at least once a day, I tell somebody, I'm a diamond with Plexus ambassador. I'm a diamond ambassador with Plexus worldwide. I tell everybody, you know what? I'm going to be driving my Lexus next year. Why? Because I want to keep that alive on the inside of me. So what do? I watch diamond documentaries to build belief that ordinary people can go all the way to the top. Now, those of you that are on this team, Andrea. Okay, some of you know Brandy, Julia, right? I spent some time with those ladies at our mountain retreat in Gatlinburg last year. And our team had a special little thing where these diamonds came into a cabin, and we all sat around tables, and it was like one diamond for like 6 of us, brand ambassadors. And they would spend like 30 minutes with us. And then they would move to another table, and another diamond ambassador would come and spend like 30 minutes with us. And they did that like for a couple of hours. And at the end of that time, this is what I said. I walked away and I said, oh my gosh, if these women can do it, I can do it. Because you know what I found out? They were ordinary women. Like, they were just moms and wives and ordinary people. And it gave me the belief that it doesn't matter where you come from in life, right? It doesn't matter what your past is. If you can build belief in your heart, belief in the products, belief in the systems that they're giving you. I mean, listen, let's not question the systems. Let's not question the simple things. Like, listen, I know that sometimes people are like, oh, I just don't like to message. I really wish there was another way other than messaging. I'm like, get over yourself, just message, right? Like, here's something here's something I want you to walk away with today that I want you to remember. This is a numbers game. This is a numbers game. Okay. What do I mean by it's a numbers game? A certain percentage of people that you're going to talk to about Plexus are going to say, no, no, thank you. Not interested. Not now. I can't afford it. Sorry, I've got this health issue. I can't take supplements, whatever it is. They're going to say no. And a certain percentage of people that you talk to about Plexus or about the business are going to say, yes, I'd like to try. Yes, I'm willing to try. So what does that mean? That means if you can get it in your head that this is a numbers game, you will never again be discouraged about one no that you hear from somebody, because that no just means you got moved closer to the next yes. If it's a numbers game, if a certain percentage are going to say no and a certain percentage are going to say yes, and I don't know what that percentage is for you, right? But whatever it is, every no just means I've moved closer to the next yes. So sooner I can get all of those no's out of the way, it's going to be yes, 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 yes. So it's getting the fact in your heart, getting the belief in your heart that number one, you have what it takes, okay, to be successful. If you're living and breathing and you're taking Plexus products, you have what it takes, okay? Anything that you don't have at this moment, skill sets, okay, education, you can acquire that. When I listened to Brittany Howard talk about being an introvert that lived in the country, and she's now a star diamond with our company. I mean, come on, people, what excuses do we have? Don't think because I'm shy, because I'm an introvert, because I don't have a lot of friends. Brooke Hemingway lived on a little island in Hawaii, and she was like homeschool mom, a bunch of kids, introvert, didn't have a lot of Facebook friends. And now what's she? A star diamond, like teaching people, mentoring people like you and I how to succeed in this business. So it doesn't matter whether or not you've got an outgoing personality or whether you've got, you're shyer or whatever. If you can believe in this product and in this business model and you want to succeed, I'm going to tell you what, you can go all the way to the top. I'm going to the top. I've already decided. I have already made the decision. I'm going all the way to the top. And because I'm 65 years old, I don't have time to play around. I'm not going to take 10 years to get to the top, which means I'm looking for people that I can mentor. I'm looking for people that I can help lead into the business. And the only way I'm going to find them is if I ask. The only way I'm going to know if somebody's interested in my products or this business is if I ask. Now, I don't know how many of you follow me on Facebook. Would love for you to follow me on Facebook. Look at what I post. Look at what I do. I do business posts. I do testimonies. But here's the thing. I have learned that I don't have to just do a Plexus post to have a reason or an excuse to reach out to somebody and tell them about my products. I had a picture I put up on July the 4th of me with my cute little granddaughter. And I think I got like 100 likes or something on it. Of course, every time I post a picture of my grandkids or my dog, I get more likes and more loves than anything else. So guess what Bob Heilig said? He said, if you've got something that draws attention to your Facebook page, don't quit doing it, do more of it. So anyway, so when I post something like that, you say that, everybody that liked it, do I now have a reason or an excuse or permission to talk to them about Plexus? Well, I believe I do. So what I did after that, and this has gotten me several customers since July the 4th, was I reach out to people and I say something to the effect of, hey, I couldn't help but notice you stopped by my Facebook page and liked that cute little picture of, my granddaughter and I on the 4th. Isn't she precious? And then I would say something like, in order to keep up with this toddler, I have to have the energy to do that. And I would love to share with you what I started last year. Would you be open to hearing about my health journey? Now, how did I do that? I turned that picture, that 4th of July picture, into an invitation to ask somebody if they want to hear more about Plexus. Well, I'll tell you, some people say no. Some people will ghost you. Some people will ignore you. But there are those that will say, sure, I'm interested. What are you doing? And that's where I can get into the conversation with them to talk about the products or the business. So I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I know we're trying to get these little Zoom calls, efficient and out there, but I would love to know if anybody's got any specific question, okay? If you would put it in the chat before I jump off of here, because I know sometimes people are like, I wish you had given me an opportunity to ask you a question because I'd love to know how you do this or how you do that. So if you've got a question real quick there, you can put it in the chat and I'll give you guys just a minute. Thank you again for all of you that jumped on here. I know everybody couldn't turn their cameras on. I know some of you are, this is your Saturday, you're driving. Hello. We got a couple of people in their cars. Teresa's in her car. But I do think that it's important for us, okay, as ambassadors, to share with other people what it is that we're doing that's keeping this vision alive of going and growing. So that was my intention today, to get on here and to tell you what I do to increase the belief of my heart. Kim says, if we can't think of a question now, can we message you later? Absolutely. I'm going to get this recording. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I got to talk to somebody at the table, but we'll put this recording on the tables page. And then underneath that recording, y'all ask any questions that you think of, and I'd be more than happy to help you. All right. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. And y'all have a great Saturday.